Hello students, here we are with the PYQs of the chapter Heredity and Variation. Do keep attention and let's continue with them. First question is, statements have been given beta two statements. When many alleles of a single gene govern a character, it is called polygenic inheritance. Firstly, when many alleles but the gene is single. When the gene is single, you cannot say it is a polygenic inheritance, right? So this statement is incorrect. In polygenic inheritance, the effect of each allele is additive. That is correct. Okay, so statement 2 is correct and statement 1 is false. So the option is B. Let's go to the second one. Here in the list number 1, we have the types of inheritance and 2 has examples. So let's see incomplete dominance. Incomplete dominance means the dominant character isn't completely overlapping the recessive one. So that is seen in the flower color of antirrhinum. Okay, and codominance. Codominance is seen in blood group, right? In between A and B. Yes or no? Then pleiotropy is having an example of phenylketonuria and polygenic inheritance is seen in skin color. Okay, so what is the option? 2, 1, 4, 3. 2, 1, 4, 3. Option B is the correct answer. Let's go to the next one. When a tall pea plant with round seeds was saved, it produced the progeny of so and so. These two options are given and find the genotype of the parent. Now, before going for the question, we need to see what all do we have here. In both these cases, please note we have tall. So let's say both can be like these or they can be like these. But because they've always mentioned tall and there is no chance of dwarf, we are cutting this possibility out. Okay. And the first one was with round seeds and the second was with wrinkle seeds, right? Which means we do have a small r over here for sure. All right, over here we might have one or we might not have at all, but at least we have one big R, one capital R. Okay, so what are we seeing over here? We have two capital T's, we have one capital R and small r. So this is supposed to be the genotype of the parent plant. Once it sells with itself, these are the possibilities that you can get. Okay, so which is the answer? Two capital T's, one capital R and small r. All right, let's go ahead. Aneuploidy is a chromosomal disorder where chromosome number is not the exact copy of its haploid set. Yet there is an addition or a deletion. So it is due to substitution, addition, deletion, translocation, inversion. While explaining you, I already mentioned what is it, addition or deletion. So the answer is B and C only. Okay. The answer is D in this case. Let's go to the next one. Mother has A plus blood group and father has B plus and child has A plus. What is the possibility of the genotypes? Okay. So for that, we will mention it like this over here. Pay attention for the mother, for the father, and for the child. Okay, so the mother has A plus blood group, father has B plus, and the child has A again. Now for the mother, we have two possibilities, sorry, IA or IAI. For the father, we have two possibilities as well, IB or IBI. And for the child, it is again A positive. So we have again two possibilities, IAIA or IAI. Okay, now the thing is, because the father has no IA for the child, this possibility is not possible. Okay, so for the child, which is the correct possibility? It is this one because it has got the small I from the father as well. So for the father, it becomes this one, and for the mother, it can be either of the two. Okay, so let's find out IA, IBI, and IBI. No, that's incorrect. IA, IBI, and IAI. Okay, these are correct ones. IBI, IAIA, IAIB. No, this is not correct. IAIA, IBIB. No. Okay, so for now we have only E, and option B is not seen over here. But I'm assuming it is also the correct one because that's all we have in options. So it is going to be B and E. Okay, so option is D for us. Let's go to the next one. Which one of the following can be explained on the basis of Mendel's law of dominance? We all know Mendel's law of dominance, yes or no? It is the first law where he mentions that in F1, whichever allele is dominant, whichever is seen or is expressed, that is dominant allele, while the other, which is not expressed, is recessive. However, in F2, the recessive one also expresses itself. Okay, so out of one pair of factors, one is dominant and the other is recessive. That's correct. Alleles do not show any expression. This is incorrect. Alleles will always show their expression. Factors occur in pairs in normal diploid plants. Yes, factors means he called gene as factors, right? The discrete unit controlling a particular character is called a factor, correct? Expression of only one of the parental character is found in the monohybrid cross. Yeah, because it is known as mono for the same reason, right? Because it is just one contrasting pair that we are taking. So except for B, all the options are correct. A, C, D, E only. Option B here is correct. Let's go to the next one. A pink flowered snapdragon plant was crossed with a red flowered snapdragon plant. What type of phenotype is or are expected in the progeny? Firstly, you have to pay attention. They're asking about phenotype or phenotypes. Another thing, let's work this out over here again. Pink flower. Okay, pink flower is expressed as capital R, small r crossed with a red flower, that is capital R, capital R. Okay, now how do you do this? You directly draw punnet. Okay, capital R, small r, capital R, and capital R. What do you get? Two capital R's, capital R, small r, two capital R's, capital R, small r. Okay, so the ratio we are getting is 1 is to 1 over here. What is the phenotype? Phenotype is 50% will be red and 50% are going to be pink. Okay, so you get only red flowered plants? No. Only pink flowered? No. Red flowered as well as pink flowered? White? No. White you won't get, so option B is correct. Okay, let's go to the next one. In a plant, black seed color, that can be either capital B's or capital N small, which means black is dominant over white. In order to find out the genotype of the black seed plant, which one will you cross it with? Okay, so when you get this, you cross it with a generation behind them, before them, but with the recessive one. So you will cross it with this one to find the genotype. You can cross it with anything. Okay, but if you want to find the genotype specifically, then it has to be the recessive parent. What is this called? This is called as a test cross. Go for the next one. Okay, we have similar options over here, which we did in the previous one. Two or more alternative forms of a gene. Okay, what is that? Nothing but an allele. Cross of F1 with homozygous recessive. For example, it has to be something like this. Okay, so that is known as a test cross. Cross of F1 with any parent is known as a back cross, and number of chromosome is known as a ploidy. So what is our answer? 3, 4, 1, 2. 3, 4, 1 and 2. C is the correct answer. Next one. As per ABO blood grouping system, the blood group of father is B positive, mother is A positive, and child is O. The respective genotypes can be. We've survived a similar question. Though over here there's a lot of jumble, but we'll still go for the answer. So let's see. Again, we're writing mother. Mother has A blood group, father has B, and the child has O. See, in the previous one we had confusion, but in this you cannot have. Let's make it easy for you. Because the child has O blood group, the only genotype possible is 2 small I. And because it has 2 small I, mother and father will also require small i's, yes or no? Okay, so that's why, because father's blood group is B, it has to be IB small I, and because mother's is A, it has to be IA small I. Very simple. Okay, so whenever you have an O blood group, specifically of the child, then only these genotypes are possible. Let's see which option do we have. I'll make it easy for you. See, the last one is E. It is A, B, C, D, and E over here. Okay, IB, IA, double I. Option A is correct. Okay, let's still go for the others. IB, IB, IA, IA. No, this is not possible. Capitalize. No. No. And no, this is also not possible. So the answer is A only. Okay, let's go to the next one. Monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross, all the crosses are mentioned there. Here we have their ratios. Now it might confuse you because in monohybrid cross you have both these ratios. Yes or no? Okay, but we'll see where these ratios are also applicable, where else. Okay, for example, in dihybrid cross we're certain that you have 9:3:3:1. In test cross, you always get what? 1:1. I showed you some time back. Yes or no? And in incomplete dominance, you always get 1:2:1. So in monohybrid, we will have to go for 3:1. Yes or no? So let's see. 3, 4, 2, 1. Our answer is 3, 4, 2, and 1. That is option A. Okay. Next one, a heterozygous pea plant. Heterozygous, which means it will have two different alleles. Okay, with violet flowers, which is dominant. Violet is dominant over what? Over white. Crossed with homozygous pea plant of white flower. Violet is dominant over white. Which one of the following represents the expected combinations among 40 progenies formed? So in total, they have 40 progenies. Let's see. Firstly, heterozygous pea plant looks something like this. Capital V, small w, crossed with two small w's, that is violet and white. Let's quickly make a Punnett square out of this. Okay. Capital V, small w, capital V, small w, and we have small ones here. So these are going to be violet and these are going to be white. Okay. So you have total of 40 progenies formed and the ratio here is 1:1. So you have equal in number, both the types of progenies. Okay. So you have 30:10, no, all 4 cannot be violet, 20 are violet and 20 are white, and all 40 are white is not possible. So the option is B over here. Let's go to the next one. In which disorder change of single base pair in the gene for beta globin chain results in change of glutamic acid to valine? Very important question. Okay, and this answer is sickle cell anemia. Let's go to the next one. A human female with Turner syndrome. Okay, what is Turner syndrome? In this case, what happens is the person has 45 chromosomes with X and O. So because this, why is this known as a female? Because it has one X chromosome. but the second is missing. O means it is missing. That is why instead of 46, it has 45. Okay. So please pay attention. A is the correct answer. Let's go to the next one. Frequency of recombination between gene pairs on same chromosomes as a measure of distance between the genes to map their position on chromosomes was used first time by none other than Alfred Stutwant. Next one. Which of the following are correct about Klinefelter syndrome? I hope you know what is Klinefelter syndrome. XXY. Okay, that's Klinefelter's. This disorder was described by Langdon Down. No, he described Down syndrome. Such an individual has overall masculine development, however, the feminine development is also expressed. This is the correct option. The affected individual is short statured. No. Physical and psychomotor development is retarded. No. These are cases in Down syndrome. Such individual is sterile. Correct. So option we have B and E only. Option B is the correct answer. 17. Broad palm with single palm crease is visible in person suffering from the one we were going to talk in the last one, that is Down syndrome. Okay, option D is correct. Which one of the following symbols represent mating between relatives in human pedigree analysis? Very important thing as well, because sometimes students don't remember this. It is this diagram. Okay, you have to look at the two sticks between them. These are representing uh, mating between relatives in human. Next one. Sickle cell anemia and hemophilia are autosomal dominant traits. Statement 1 is incorrect. I'll tell you why. Sickle cell anemia and hemophilia are disorders of the blood. This is correct. Now the reason is sickle cell anemia is an autosomal recessive trait, whereas hemophilia is a sex-linked recessive trait. So both of them are definitely not dominant traits. Okay, so statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. Option A. Okay, one was not printed, so we've written it over there. Next one, the chromosomal theory of inheritance was proposed by Sutton and Boveri. The answer is C. All right, so let's continue with the next question. What is the expected percentage of F2 progeny with yellow and inflated pod in dihybrid cross experiment? Pay attention to yellow and inflated, okay? Involving pea plants with green and inflated pod and yellow and constricted pod. Okay, now we are so used to putting the dominants together, expecting to be pure breeding, that we do not usually see the whole question. So here we'll not make the same mistake. Okay, here they've asked for how many percentage of yellow and inflated, but the cross is between which two parents? Green and inflated. So it is going to be like this: green and inflated crossed with yellow and constricted. Okay, now what I want you to do is, we will not make the Punnett square because we don't have time to waste. We know this, that they have asked for the percentage of F2 progeny and they're going to ask like this. So for percentage, we simply require this ratio. Okay, here we'll be smart to say that here we always have which parent? First parent, and here we have the last one. What we are looking for is this one. Okay, what we are looking for is this one. So in total, how many children or progeny do they have? 16. And out of which they are 3 of them which are going to be yellow and inflated. So the answer should be 3 upon 16 into 100, because they've asked into percentage, and that is 18.75%. Okay, so the answer is D, 18.75. Next one, in a female individual in which a small round head, furrowed tongue, partially open mouth and broad palm with characteristic palm crease is seen, psychomotor and mental development is not there. The karyotypic analysis would show what? Karyotype means we're studying the chromosome. So they will show trisomy of 21st chromosome. Why? Because this is the characteristic of Down syndrome. So the answer is A. Next one. Select the incorrect match regarding the symbols used for pedigree analysis. First one shows parent with male child affected with a disease, affected individual, sex unspecified, consanguineous mating. Here, beta, this is wrong. Why? Because here you should have one more line to make it correct. Okay, so this is the answer. Next one, a normal girl whose mother is hemophilic marries a man with no ancestral history of hemophilia. What will be the possible phenotypes of the offspring? So here we'll have to work this out. The mother is hemophilic, so we'll write it like this, crossed with father who has no history of hemophilia. Okay, so let's see. Firstly, we will have XCX as one child. The second can be XCY. Third, XX. This is the normal girl they're talking about. And this is going to be X and Y. Okay, so here we can see hemophilic son and hemophilic daughter. Okay, hemophilic son and carrier daughter. Okay, normal daughters, this can work. Normal daughter and normal son are also there. Normal son and hemophilic daughter is not possible. So we have B and C only. Okay, let's continue with the next question, child. XO type of sex determination can be found in, so XO type of sex determination kya hota hai? In males, they have only single X chromosome, which is like this, whereas in females, there are two X chromosomes. Okay, this is seen in grasshoppers, so our option is C. Next one. Statement 1, Mendel studied 7 pairs of contrasting traits in pea plants and proposed the law of inheritance. This is correct. Statement 2, 7 characters examined by Mendel in his experiment on pea plants were. So we're supposed to find out if they're correct or not. Seed shape, seed color, flower color, odd shape and color, flower position and stem height. All of them are correct. So statement 1 and 2 both are correct. Okay, so option is A. Next one, which of the following occurs due to the presence of autosome linked dominant trait? So autosome linked dominant trait, always remember answer is B, myotonic dystrophy. Next one, given below are the statements, assertion and reason type. Mendel's law of independent assortment does not hold good for the genes that are closely related on the same chromosome. This is correct. Closely located genes assort independently. This is contradictory. They will not assort independently. Okay, so this one is incorrect. So assertion is correct, but reason is incorrect. Answer is C. Next one. Multiple alleles are present. If you have a multiple allelism in any case, where are they present? They are present at the same position. Okay, different loci? No. At the same locus of the chromosome is the correct answer. It is B. Next one, if a colorblind female marries a man whose mother was also colorblind, what are the chances of a progeny having color blindness? So over here, the female is colorblind. Let's see how are we going to show that. Marries a man whose mother was also colorblind. Now we don't have to see the genes of the mother and father, but you also have to remember this man got his X chromosome from his mother. So because his mother was also colorblind, okay, then this is supposed to be the genotype. Now, what are the chances of progeny having color blindness? Let's see. In this case, XC, XC. In this case, it is XCY. In this case, it is XC, XC. In this case, it is XCY. So you can see all of them are going to have color blindness. So the answer is 100%. This is very clear. It is option D. Next one, the recombination frequency. Now, beta, these kinds of questions mean that you have to align them. Okay, one after the other, how they are present on the chromosome. So this is very easy. Let's work it out. The recombination frequency between genes A and C, okay, is 5%. Okay, between B and C is 15%. Let's see. I'm just randomly writing it. We'll work it out later. Between B and D is 9%. Hopefully, this has to be like this. Between A and B is 20%. So here it is working out for us. Yes, this is working out. 5 plus 15 is 20. Between C and D is 24%. So C and D, 15 plus 9, 24%. And A and D is 29%. 20 plus 9, that is 29. Okay. So the combination will go like this. A, C, B, D. A, C, B, D. Option D. Next one, the production of gametes by parents, formation of zygotes, the F1 and F2 plants can be understood from a diagram called a Punnett square. Option C. We've been drawing it today so many times. What are alleles? Alleles are different true breeding homozygotes, heterozygotes, different molecular forms of a gene, different phenotype. Okay, it's option B. Okay, they are alternative forms of a gene, if you remember. In a cross between a male and a female, both heterozygous for sickle cell anemia, with what percent of progeny will be diseased? So let's make this one also for sickle cell anemia. Okay, first is both are heterozygous. So what will we write? HbA, HbS crossed with HbA, Hb. Is this very clear? Now progeny we have to discuss. First progeny HbA, HbA. Second one HbA, HbS. Third one HbA, HbS. Fourth one HbS, HbS. So which progeny will be diseased? What do you think? All right. Now the diseased progeny is HbS, HbS, which out of the four is one, that is 25%. Our option is C. Let's go to the next one. The term linkage was coined by none other than J.T.H. Morgan. Okay. Next one, embryological support for evolution was disapproved by, the answer is Carl Ernst von Baer, option D. Always remember, this is an important question. Okay. Next one, select the correct match. Phenylketonuria, autosomal dominant trait, thalassemia, X-linked, hemophilia Y-linked, sickle cell anemia, autosomal recessive trait, chromosome number 2. We spoke about this. It is an also autosomal recessive trait. Okay. Now what are we doing here? We have the type of determination, or you have the type of sex chromosomes, and how do you do sex determination? And we have options over here. So XXX0 method. We mentioned about X0 in a previous question. And where is that seen? That is seen in grasshopper. XXXY method of determination. Now in this is seen in humans. What is the point behind this? The females are homogametic. Okay, females are homogametic. Karyotype 45, one chromosome is missing. What is this? Turner's syndrome. And ZWZZ type is females are heterogametic. This is the female and this will be the male. Okay, so our answer is 3, 4, 1, 2. 3, 4, 1 and 2. Option C is the correct answer. Next one, in which genetic condition each cell in the affected person has 3 sex chromosomes Double XY, this is seen in none other than Klinefelter syndrome, option B. Next one, a woman has an X-linked condition on one of her X chromosomes. So whichever two X chromosomes she has, on one of them she has a particular condition. This can be inherited by, she can give this either to the daughter or to the son. It is not necessary that only one gender will receive it. So the option is both sons and daughters will inherit it. Option C. Next one, which of the following characters represent inheritance of blood in humans? Dominance, codominance, multiple alleles, uh, incomplete dominance, and polygenic inheritance. Now, firstly, dominance is seen because A and B are codominant, but they are completely dominant over O. Codominance is seen between A and B, and obviously multiple alleles are also seen. So A, B, and C are seen. Option is B. Next one, thalassemia and sickle cell anemia are caused due to the problem in globin molecule synthesis. Select the correct statement. Both are due to quantitative effect, not both are due to quantitative. Sickle cell anemia is due to a quantitative effect, no. Thalassemia is due to less synthesis of globin molecules. This is correct. Both are due to a qualitative effect. Both are not due to either only quantitative or qualitative. Okay. Next question. The genotypes of a husband and wife are III, B, and IAI. Among the blood types of the children, how many different genotypes and phenotypes are possible? So how do we solve this question? Let's see. First, let's write about the wife. Let's write about the husband and wife over here. Okay. Husband has IA, IB. Okay. And I A, I in wife. Okay, now how many different types are possible? Let's see. IA, IAI, okay, IAIB, and IB. Is this very clear? Okay, now both of these IAIA and IAI can account for blood group A. This for blood group AB and this for blood group B. Did you understand? Now, whatever is written over here, this amounts to genotype. And whatever is written here amounts to phenotype. Is this very clear? So, how many genotypes do we have? 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 genotypes and 3 phenotypes. Where is the answer? Yes. 4 genotypes and 3 phenotypes. Option B is our answer. Next one, a disease caused by an autosomal primary non-disjunction. Autosome and non-disjunction of chromosomes in 21st chromosome. What is that? Down syndrome. Okay, option D is the answer. Next one, among the following characters, which one was not considered by Mendel in his experiment on peas? Very easy question. Trichomes, glandular or non-glandular? First option, which is correct, A. Pod inflated and constricted was considered. Seed green or yellow was also considered, and stem tall and dwarf was also considered. So our answer is A. Next one, a cell at telophase stage is observed by a student in a plant brought from the field. He tells his teacher that this cell is not like the other at the telophase stage. There is no formation of cell plate, and thus the cell is containing more number of chromosomes as compared to the other dividing cells. So this would result in nothing but polyploidy, more set of chromosome than normal. Okay, option is C. Next one, a tall two breeding garden pea plant is crossed with a dwarf true breeding garden pea when the F1 plants were selfed. The resulting genotypes were in the ratio. Okay, what is going to be your answer? It is very obvious. You get 1 is to 2 is to 1 or 3 is to 1 in case here you're going for phenotypic and here you're going for genotypic. 3 is to 1, dwarf is to tall. No. 1 is to 2 is to 1, tall heterozygous, tall homozygous, and dwarf. So this is incorrect. They are supposed to be exchanged, right? 1 is to 2 is to 1, tall homozygous, tall heterozygous, and dwarf. And this is correct. And 3 is to 1, tall is to dwarf. This could be correct, child. But over here, what are they asking? Resulting genotypes. So this is the ratio we are going for. Is this very clear? So our option is B. Let's go for the next one. Dominance, codominance, pleiotropy, polygenic inheritance. We've already seen an MCQ similar to this. Okay. Now, firstly, dominance is seen in a single gene influencing many characters. No. In a heterologous organism, both alleles express fully. No. Only one is expressing itself is dominance. Okay. No, sorry. This is no, it is second one. Only one is expressing itself. Okay. Then codominance, both express themselves fully. Okay. Next, pleiotropy, many genes cover in a single character. No, a single gene influencing many characters. And polygenic, many genes govern. Now, if you cannot remember, if you're confused between the both, how do you remember it? Polygenic, which means many genes. That's how you will remember. Okay, so our option is 2, 3, 4 and 1. 2, 3, 4 and 1. Option C is correct. Next one. In a test cross involving F1 hybrid flies, more parental type offsprings were produced than the recombinant type. This indicates, you know this, okay, when there are more parental type, then what would be the reason? Both of the characters are controlled by more than one gene. That's not the reason. The two genes are located on two different chromosomes. The chromosomes failed to separate during meiosis. The two genes are linked and present on the same chromosomes. Option is D. Okay. Next one, a gene showing codominance it has codominance. Okay, both are equally dominant. Alleles that are recessive to each other, that's incorrect. One allele dominant on the other, incorrect. Both alleles independently expressing in the heterozygote. Alleles tightly linked on the same chromosome. No, B is the correct option. Both are independently expressing. Okay. Next one. In his classic experiment on pea plants, Mendel did not use seed shape, seed color, flower position, pod length. Answer is D, pod length. Next one, a pleiotropic gene. Pleiotropy, remember what is this? One gene controlling many things. Keep this in your mind. Controls a trait only in combination with another gene, controls multiple traits in an individual, is expressed only in primitive plants, is a gene involved during Pliocene? No, it is option B. Okay. Fine, children. This is here all the PYQs of hereditary and variation. I hope you are following our channel and you are looking at all these MCQs and gaining confidence. And bane rahiye hamare saath because we have so much more coming. So all the very best and thank you.